Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. With the name of Allah Almighty, the most beneficent and the most merciful. We start another session by the CEO Club Pakistan and the CEO Today magazine. And this is a regular program, online coffee with CEO. We have a lot of more than 100 CEO sessions during this pandemic or the last almost 3 to 4 months. Now we are going beyond the borders and we are inviting the CEOs from the abroad, overseas CEOs of Pakistan. Now today we have an exclusive personality of the day, Mr. Bilal Moti. He's the CEO of the Windmills. He's the property valuation in the business, and he's one of the really visionary business leader and the CEO. Mr. Bilal Moti, welcome to the Coffee with CEO session, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Ijaz bhai. And I also thank the entire team of CEO Club, Management House, and the audience.
Thank you, sir. Sir Bilal bhai, just can you, because the pandemic is global and it is a very reality. A lot of businesses are hit by the pandemic, and we have a new normals rather than normals, and the new normal is the normal nowadays. Bilal bhai, just first of all, initially tell me the last 4 months you spent under pandemic. What were the key lessons you learned personally and professionally? आपने क्या सीखा? Over to Bilal. Over to you.
Very interesting question. The first one being very, very interesting. COVID has been, as everybody knows, an unprecedented event to happen for the very first time. It has changed lives. It has changed the way of thinking. It has changed the modus operandi of the business. There are many, many changes. Okay, so let's come back to your question. What has been my last 4 months in the pandemic? Well, to be very, very honest, in the beginning, we all took it very, very easy. I thought my daughter was stuck in UK. We thought it's going to be a kind of a shallow virus and everything is going to be over within few weeks' time maximum. But of course, we all were wrong. Coronavirus has recorded a history in the global scenario. The lessons, well, we all knew this, but COVID has made us realize that the challenges like this, whether they are global or regional or local, are the facts of life. We have to learn to embrace them. That's very, very important. And not only learn to realize them and embrace them, but also to make sure that we are ready for it. We are ready for it financially, we are ready for it strategically, and we are ready for it from our personal life point of view too. So basically, I spent about the first month at home trying to figure out what's happening because the business fell down by 50%. And then when the smart lockdown began and the hard lockdown went away, of course, the business started coming in, and the month of May was definitely way better and with more of a normal. But amazingly, our month of June, from the business point of view, has recorded the best history in our 4 years of business life. So what I've learned is to be ready, of course, and develop the systems for disaster management like that. Develop your organization, your people, your systems in a way that whenever such a challenge comes in, you should be able to not only beat that, but beat that fast. I also learned that how important is it to transform the whole business into technology, into e-commerce, into telecom. I realized for the very first time, indeed, quite a lot of business, quite a lot of servicing, communication can be done online. Okay, so the better we are in terms of our technological platform and the telecom platform, the stronger we are to beat such challenges, in my humble opinion. And of course, a few more things is in such unprecedented times when you cannot run a normal life, it's time to step back and review your situation and see, is your time well spent on yourself, on your family? Is your time well spent on the business? Is the business in the right direction? Are the priorities right? So sit back and reflect on such priorities of life and make changes. And usually in the normal scenarios, we don't have such opportunities to step back and think about where we are and where we want to be and make the direction corrected accordingly. So it was also another learning point for me.
Sir, Bilal bhai, thank you very much. What is the philosophy you learned? People sometimes say we learned humility. We redefined the definition of success and happiness. So during this pandemic, have you revisited your definition of success and happiness? What is Bilal's definition of success and happiness?
Yeah, two questions together. Did I learn humility in this COVID environment? Indeed, yes. I think all of us have, and me too. I'm also an ordinary part of the society, so I did that. We all realized how fragile are the lives. We all realized how important is the health system. We all realized how important is it to spend time with the family. And how important is it to protect your family, yourself, your friends, your colleagues, to make sure that they are all healthy and safe? Absolutely. It put us all into the ground to realize that there are many important things in life than just business. So yes, indeed, the value of life, I'm a valuer, right? The value of life has been redefined for me as in a simple answer. Your second part of the question was, I think, about me.
About success and happiness.
Okay, I think for me, success is indeed happiness, because success has no measure. Okay, some people think they earn about $1,000 a month and they are successful, and there are people who are able to build an empire of $100 billion, and they think they have to do more. So it's all relative, okay? But in my opinion, success is happiness. If you achieve a certain level of happiness in whatever you have done, whatever you are doing, and whatever you think you can do, I think you're already successful, in my opinion. Do I find myself successful? Of course, I indeed find myself successful, because I think Allah has been super kind on me personally. I think the markets that I've worked into have been very, very supportive in whatever I did. And likewise is the case of Windmills. It's one of the shining stars in the market. So indeed, yes, I feel happy.
Thank you, Bilal. Now, coming to the topic. Today, we have a special topic with you, the leadership in crisis. Bilal, can you share with us what is the meaning of leadership in crisis to you? Because this is a research by the Harvard Business School. Nowadays, the most read topic is the leadership, how they are overcoming the challenges, the testing times we are passing through globally. Being a business leader, how do you define leadership in crisis, and the three competence of a leader who can overcome these testing times globally and locally? Over to you, sir.
Okay. COVID has not only tested the disaster management system of the countries and the organization, it has not only tested the health management system, but it has also tested the human behaviors and ethics about protecting themselves and others, and definitely the leadership at all levels, whether they are on the country's level, national level, or on the organizational level, or on the family level. What is leadership in crisis? Well, as the name indicates, my simple version is that when you have something that is unprecedented, unknown, absolutely coming out of the blue of such a high magnitude, like global pandemics or earthquakes or storms or financial crises, how do you as leader play your part and contribution to make sure that your universe of responsibilities are adding value to the universe that you are looking after? It's extremely important. Now, what are the competencies? Of course, the competencies, leadership competencies, vary from from place to place, situation to situation, and the universe of your responsibilities. It very much depends. But of course, the most important thing, in my humble opinion, if I look at myself, I mean, how do I handle my last 4 months or any such test before? I think the most important thing for me is faith. We all understand and realize that these challenges are real, but we also realize very, very clearly as leaders that they are temporary. There's a supreme authority up there who's going to bail us out. So if you have that faith, then you are always able to, a strong and clear faith, then you're always able to manage it. That's number one. Number two, in my opinion, is do you really feel responsible about your universal organization that you are looking after? Do you realize that this crisis does not belong to them? It belongs to you. And if it belongs to them, it still belongs to you. So it's very, very important to understand your responsibility and own that responsibility and be the first one on the front line to make sure that you lead the scenario out. So you take the responsibility, understand where you are, what the problems are, what could be the risks, and how you mitigate the risks, and basically come up with a plan for it and execute the plan. So owning the responsibility is the second competence, in my opinion. The third thing is, there's a competence which is called communication. That I think warrants a bit much more important than it is being given at this point in time. Do you make sure that the ecosystem around you are completely aware of what such a risk means and entails? And are you able to tell them the importance of these risks and the importance of the solutions which will mitigate those risks very clearly or not? So I think a very important competence is communication as well. These are the few competences I can think about at this point in time, off the hand of myself.
Excellent reply, Bilal. Faith and responsibility. I really enjoy it because faith is the basic, the fundamental keystone for a leadership to overcome the. And second, people ask me this question, just in crisis, what do you? The two things. The first is the faith, and the second is the cash. I think there are two things to overcome the crisis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the third thing is your immune system. If you are internally strong, your immunity, ये ईमान और your immune की कहानी है सर सारा pandemic. ईमान mean faith and immune means आपका internal system. अगर आपके दोनों strong हैं, तो you are mentally strong. अगर नहीं, तो you are strongly mental. That is a very clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now coming to the UAE, Bilal, you are basically overseas CEO, a Pakistani origin, but you are staying and doing your business with your family in the UAE. Just give me a bird eye view of the Middle East and the UAE after the pandemic and during the pandemic regarding the business impact. What the impact created by the COVID in the Middle East, and secondly, share with me the impact on your company, the Windmills, and the later part. The first part is the UAE part and the Middle East part. But the three areas which were really hit the businesses, and three are the businesses opportunities in the Middle East after this the COVID. Over to you, Bilal.
Okay. COVID has disturbed each and every life. UAE is Middle East is no exception. A lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. The business in the UAE, of course, and in the Middle East has also been hit pretty severely. And that's very natural to happen because if there is no travel happening, if there is a lockdown situation whereby you're not able to come out of the home, and where there are very strict social distancing mechanisms in place, of course, in life in general comes to a halt. So the business has been affected severely in the UAE and the Middle East also. But of course, there are countries which have been able to manage such a humongous crisis much better than the other countries. And I'm very pleasantly surprised and very proud to share this with you and the audience. UAE is among those countries which have controlled the, the fatalities and the negative impact on the society, on the businesses, on the people, to the best of this. To the best. UAE was, I think, one of the first countries to ensure that this is a very serious thing. Before I got here, UAE was among the first countries, or the top country, has done the highest number of tests across the whole country. UAE has been very, very smart and proactive about applying the social distancing mechanism, the lockdown, the smart lockdowns, in such a way that in the initial period, everybody is basically taken care of very, very well. But also, on the other hand, ease it down with the smart lockdown, whereby the business can also start. So today, we are one of the first countries where I think we are completely out of the lockdown situation. So all we need to do is to make sure that we have to take care of ourselves and the society by applying the social distancing mechanism. So yes, UAE this was down. Not only the major public markets like stock markets and the real estate market, but the overall business has been low, especially in the month of April. But I sincerely believe that in the month of June, July now, I think things are pretty much normalized. And with the travel being open again, with the people who are residing in the UAE are coming back to the UAE, and the people who are supposed to go back from the UAE have gone back from the UAE, I think we'll be in a very normal situations very, very soon. As far as my business is concerned, as I said, in April I was a little bit nervous and sensitive about, hey, what's happening here? when my big clients like banks have stopped giving business to me for the same reasons that we could not move around. But again, here comes June, and I'm very happy to report that we are recording the highest ever revenue in our entire business line in the UAE.
Okay. You're telling me, but just about because the UAE based in the two areas. The first is the real estate, and the second is the tourism. What do
Yeah.
you say? What is your take on the two areas hit, and what are the emerging areas? The people as a silver lining that they look into future investments and future visits. The first is the impact on the two areas because maximum people they visit because of these two reasons. What is your take on these two
Yeah.
businesses?
I think the industries that have been worst hit during this pandemic are travel, tourism, hospitality, retail, oil and gas, uh, real estate, and automobiles. Okay, of course with various degree. Um, and of course the reasons are of course understandable. But on the other hand, the industries that have been able to get the benefit of this pandemic are the e-commerce platforms. So the likes of Amazon and the likes of the delivery channels in the UAE and the Middle East have done very, very well over the last few months. The telecom sector has done very, very well. The health system, of course, in the beginning, there was a little bit of a nervousness about how to handle so many cases in a short time. But the health system industry has been very much in demand from the business perspective. So these are the winning industries in the UAE, like perhaps any other area in the system.
Okay, you told there are areas, especially health and e-commerce and telecom, they
Real estate.
flourish. Real estate.
I'm sorry I skipped the real estate industry. I mean,
Yes.
real estate
What is
industries
the scenario?
Yeah, real estate industries, I think perhaps like in any other country, forms about one of the four largest industries in this country as well. Next to financial services, oil and gas, real estate is also one of the largest industries in the UAE. Even before the pandemics, over the last 3 to 4 years, we have noticed a continuous and a sharp decline in the real estate prices in the UAE, especially in Dubai. Over the last 2 years, we also noticed a sharp decline in the rental prices. So overall yield level has definitely gone down. And the reasons, of course, one is pandemic, which is short-term and temporary and recent. But I think the bigger reason is a little bit of a mismatch between the supply and the demand situation. Usually, real estate markets are affected directly by the country's political situation, the economic situation, and the social landscape and the developments of the country. I mean, on those all major counts, macro counts, I think UAE has done a much superior job than many countries in the world. Okay, so supply of residential and commercial buildings have gone relatively higher than the demand. And there's a good reason for it, because whatever we do, I think in the UAE, from the very strong leadership and planning point of view, is usually perfect. Okay, and I have a lot of examples to substantiate that. And that all was happening for Expo 2022, and that's all happening under the 10 years plan that the UAE to ensure that we have newer investment coming in, newer businesses coming in, and somewhere around 25 to 30 million people would be having a possibility to realize the competitive advantages that the country offers during the Expo 2022, which has been now delayed by 1 year. So there has been a temporary mismatch between demand and supply. The idea of higher supply was to make sure that we are ready once the policy and the Expo is concluded, and we have much more inflow of people coming in and requiring such real estate. So there has been certain level of, because of the mismatch between the two important factors, we saw that the prices have been declining. But I personally believe that the kind of power this country has and the kind of seriousness about developing this country would be able to tackle this temporary higher vacancy level that is available in the market. And the reason is, first of all, it's a growth country. The leadership is extremely serious about developing this country. I mean, look at it 35 years ago when I came in for the very first time in the UAE, it was a village. Today is one of the most advanced countries in the world from the infrastructural point of view. It really is. I mean, it's surprising to you when you go around the country, driving, and see how beautiful the road network is, how beautiful the transport and the communication system are. So it's one of the best infrastructure. And of course, the strategic location, policies, etc., are very, very business friendly. So it looks like temporary now.
Bilal, very difficult question. Might be you will be able to answer regarding the Pakistani point of view. You are sitting in the UAE regarding the joblessness, because a lot of people are laid off. Daily wages are people, companies laid off their. So what is the exact situation of the joblessness, especially Pakistani layoff, and they are waiting coming back to their Pakistan homes. They don't have the finding the flights, and they don't have the money to pay even. But the government is supporting them. Pakistani embassy, Pakistani people, you people are supporting your brothers. And what is actually the number of the people who are jobless during this pandemic at the UAE? What is the exact figure, and what is the hope for these people in UAE? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, that's indeed one of the most difficult questions. Ijaz. Well, I think it's not a matter of laughing or smiling here. It's indeed a very serious matter to our Pakistani brothers and sisters sitting there. One testing and challenging side is Pakistan itself, whereby which is the country is definitely struggling financially and politically and socially for a very, very long time, and sometimes you feel, of course, we should not lose faith, but sometimes you feel how on earth this is going to be managed, to be very honest. So there are some indigenous inherent problems in the country whereby it has not been able to produce jobs and the new businesses to an acceptable level. That's the reality of life. On the other hand, the COVID's impact have made so many people who have been working abroad stuck back in Pakistan, who have not been able to go back, and the money is drying down, and definitely a problem. And on the other hand, the inflation, well, now alhamdulillah is much better than before, but say till 3 months ago, 4 months ago, the inflation was terrible. The interest is very terribly high. The interest rates were very high. The businesses were not doing well. The oil prices have gone down, luckily this year, but I remember last year, even that financial pressure on the economy and the people in terms of the oil prices. Everything has been very tough in the past to Pakistan. I'm very, very happy to realize that over the last few months, there are some parts of Pakistan, the economy part, which have done remarkably well. I mean, I'm very impressed with the 70% improvements in the current account deficit. I'm very, very impressed with 30% improvements in the fiscal deficit. I'm very, very impressed with the fact that over the last 1 year, there has been tremendous growth on the remittances. If I remember, somewhere around 5 to 10%. We are very happy that in this difficult time, our international partners have given us support, and the international fund organizations have also supported us. I'm extremely happy to understand that the State Bank of Pakistan has taken proactive steps to cut down the interest rates sharply from 13-14% to now about 8%. It's very proactive. It's very dancing with the music approach that they have applied. And I'm very happy to also feel that the inflation now is going down. And there are a few more and some more parameters too. So yes, I think on the economic front, Pakistan is getting better in my humble opinion. I'm very happy to hear this. I think on the external, so to say, external or internal political challenges are also relatively less. We remember till about 2 years ago, we used to see so many blasts in the masajids of the country everywhere, and every Friday we would lose so many lives. I think the country has undergone a serious level of security and stability from the law and order situation point of view. So I'm very happy. But indeed, the issue remains that there are businesses gone, the jobs lost. I don't exactly know what is the unemployment level in Pakistan. If I have to give my ballpark estimation, I would say somewhere around 20 to 25%, which is very, very high. And I may be wrong, but that's what my feeling, which is very, very high. How to help them? Well, we see quite a lot of initiatives being taken by the provincials and federal governments in this regard, from ESAS program to rehabilitation centers to no new tax budget to, of course, the economic changes like getting interest rates down so that people can do more business, support to those companies who are not laying off their people, and many others which you would know perhaps better than I know sitting here in the UAE. But in my humble opinion, over the medium to long term, the solution is only one. The solution is that we have to make sure that the country is able to produce in a much better way, and the country is able to attract foreign investments in a much better. And I think that's only possible, again, is only possible in looking at not only the hard things like streamlining the economy of the country, which is extremely important. But I think, in my humble opinion, the first priority which Pakistan should give, Pakistan government should give, and all the institutions should give, is to make sure that our legal system, our social framework, our legal system works fine. I would give it, if it's my responsibility, I would like to make sure that the social framework is streamlined by a proper justice system and the legal system. Because if you do that, then you will see the output coming out from the organizations, institutions, corporates, general public, because they are safer and it's easier for them to do the business in this country, in my humble opinion.
Sir, before going to the short questions, just last question regarding windmills. Where do you see you said about the June was very magical month for the windmills. Bilal bhai, where do you see, because your specialty in the valuation of the property, and this is I think the property is your girlfriend as well, if you allow me to say. What do you say about the 5-year down? Because there's an opportunity as well, because the demand and supply is disrupted, and might be you have a cash in your pocket. Is the right time to invest in Dubai, and might be you will be the consultant for the CEOs they can especially go into the UAE and invest into the property. This is the right time. They can get the best deals. What is your what do you say, and what is the strategy of the windmills, especially the business growth? Do you see in the next 3 to 5 years? What do you say?
Yes. So there's always a silver lining, an opportunity in the crisis situation. In fact, the deepest and the widest level of opportunities are always existing only during the crisis situation, because one should invest when there is a bloodbath in the street. Okay. Real estate markets in Pakistan, globally, and in the UAE especially, has become to such an attractive level that people who have not invested there for their own livings, I would suggest it's time to look into this objectively. Of course, looking at your own practical situation first, but I believe it's a beautiful time and opportunity to make investment, because at times we find the properties which are lower than the construction and the land price of the property itself. So interesting times, and we still are getting a certain level of, say, around 5% average return on investment in the real estate investments in the UAE, which is still very, very good. And there is an opportunity to have capital gains when the market grows up in the future. So yes, I think it's a very good time. Windmills. Let me tell you what windmills is first, and then what have we done very quickly to make it so successful, and which I'm very, very happy about. Well, Windmills Group has two companies. One is a real estate valuation services, which has now transformed into all assets valuation services, and not only real estate. And we have another company in the group, which is an international brokerage services. Okay. Now, I run real estate valuation services. Okay, and not the brokerage. So we value real estate properties, we value machine and equipment, and we value companies in the UAE. I'm very, very happy to report to you that that we are among the top 7 valuation firms. Not vertically, we are number 3 or 4, but horizontally. So all top valuation firms are the same category in terms of performance ranking. And this award was given to us in February this year by Dubai Land Department and Vera. So that's a very, very big honor for us. We have also received many, many awards from Apex Regulatory, as well as the financial watchdog of the country into many respects, as the best professional company, as well as, customer service tangent as well. Okay. We are at the moment working for about 19 of 25 top banks in the country. They are our clients. We also are very privileged to work for many large corporate groups, from the government to the family groups to public listed companies to private companies and to high net worth individuals. So luckily our spectrum of clients is very wide. That makes our business pretty much strong. And in this declining market, as we spoke, over the last 4 years of our existence, we have been able to, I think, improve our business from 2017 to 2020 by 30 times. So I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man. And as long as the happiness is there, the feeling of success is there too. Now, what has made it so successful? And perhaps that's one of the, and it's definitely not only me. It's definitely not only. Of course, my faith and my passion has played some role to make this business successful. But I'm very, very glad to share with you that the team, I've been very lucky to the team that I have got, is extremely, they are fighters. They're really the winners of the country. And they are, from the academic point of view, experience point of view, and most importantly, the developing point of view, are top-notch people. What has worked for me, next to the faith and passion, in my humble opinion, is the relationship.
Mashallah.
The most important thing in business, in leadership, in professionalism, in my humble opinion, cannot really be called a leader, but in my humble opinion, the most important thing after the faith and the passion is relationship. A relationship with your clients, relationship with your regulatory authorities, relationship with your staff members, relationship with all the partners around you, relationship with all the stakeholders that are into your business, whether it's small or big, important or not important, client or not, relationship is extremely, extremely important. And the relationship can only be gained, and I'm sorry, this is my last sentence because I keep on talking and I have to stop now, I know. The relationship cannot be built, in my humble opinion, unless you love people, you give to the people, you care about people, you are genuinely interested in their growth and development. If they don't, if you are not serious about ensuring that not only your clients' needs are satisfied, but client needs and objectives are progressively satisfied by walking extra miles, you cannot be successful. I think my team and I have tried my level best to build our relationship based on trust. People tell me, what do you sell? I say I sell trust. If you sell trust with ethics and 100% sincerity, your business definitely cannot go down.
Thank you, Bilal. I think, add then the last question. Relationship with wife, I think, should be the top number one list. It is the clients, customer, business, stakeholders. They are the third, fourth, fifth, but the number one relationship with the wife. And if that is the number one key of success and happiness.
Yeah, this is one of the learnings during the pandemics as well.
Yeah.
If you want to stay home, you make sure that you have a very, very good relationship, and you don't do certain things that are not being liked by your wife. Especially my excessive music is sometimes my weakness as well. But I agree with you. But very happy to share that my wife has been the backbone of not only by my life, but also for my business as well. Because you wouldn't believe, in the situation where the business is growing literally 3 times in 1 month, the whole family is in the office and helping me. So yeah, that's important.
Last 2 questions. The second last question is, because there's a lot of stress, lot of depression, hopelessness around globally and in Pakistan, in the UAE. So what the coping strategy of the Bilal Moti to overcome this, especially the stress and anxiety and such kind of stuff? What is your strategy to overcome this thinking?
It's so coincidental that you asked me this question. My simple answer is, if you are resilient in your mind, based on your faith and your passion, वो कहते हैं ना कि आप उस वक्त तक नहीं हारते जब तक आप हार मान नहीं लेते. So the idea is that you should have a resilience of faith and passion here. That's very, very important. But again, the other day I was talking to a very good friend of mine, in fact, the president of our network, social network, business network chapter. And I said, hey, and we're talking about how do you come out of certain stress or depression situation, which you may not even realize that you are in. So how do you solve that? Okay, because I see a lot of people, who are stressed today, and they don't realize it. And sometimes I feel it as well. Okay, they are into a situation, So we were having a casual discussion, and the lady told me, okay, it's like watching a movie. If you watch a horror movie, you feel scared, don't you? To some extent, or to a high extent. If you watch an emotional movie, say a very romantic movie, then of course you feel to the level of romanticism in you too, right? So, it's exactly like that. It's very much like that. If you are into a movie which is full of depression and full of stress, but do you realize, is it a reality or you are into a state of mind? The most important thing is your reality check. You should have the quality to realize that it's a drama around your mind, and break that drama and come out of the movie and see the reality of life. It's very difficult. It's easier said than done. But
Sir, my last question, sir, Bilal Bhai, thank you very much. What is the message would you like to give to the young people, young entrepreneurs, young startups, either living in Pakistan or abroad? आपका क्या message of hope and optimism क्या है sir?
Yeah, what I've learned, I think, in simple words over my 35 years of career now is really, really stay simple. Stay absolutely simple in your life. Stay absolutely simple about your jobs. Stay absolutely simple about your business, which means focus on the basic elements, focus on the core subjects, and do them well. And then focus on the competitive advantages that you have to create. Okay. So first, take care of your basic and the core things first, and then come up and say, fine, how am I be so competitive, better, faster, more innovative, that my audience, whether it's on a personal level or on a business level, understands me, likes me better than the others. So basically, stay simple and stay focused on the core issues and try to be as competitive and innovative there as possible.
माशाल्लाह बिलाल भाई बहुत अच्छा लगा ये paucity of time does not allow me to go into details इंशाल्लाह आपके साथ इतनी तशनगी है कि we will have another session soon आपके साथ करेंगे और बस बहुत शुक्रिया और एक शेर आपके लिए अर्ज करता चला जाऊं डेडिकेट कर रहा हूं कि पीजा अयाम की तलखी को भी हंस के नासिर पीजा अयाम की तलखी को भी हंस के नासिर गम को सहने में भी कुदरत ने मजा रखा है जब से तूने मुझे दीवाना बना रखा
एक शेर
हर शख्स ने हाथों में उठा रखा ये एक शेर आपका सर
एक शेर जब आपने मुझसे पूछा क्या मैसेज है तो मुझे शायद वो पढ़ना चाहिए था लेकिन आपने मुझे शायरी के मोड में चेंज कर दिया तो इफ यू अलाउ मी तो एक शेर जो मैं हमेशा अपने सामने रखने की कोशिश करता हूँ वो ये है कि अज़्म रखे तो फसीलों के सरों पर रखे अज़्म रखे फसीलों के सरों पर रखे जख्म रखा तो समंदर से भी गहरा रखा तो ये फिलॉसफी ऑफ लाइफ
सर ये तो सर ये आपके ना अंदर से लगता है भाभी से मुझे बात करनी पड़ेगी इसका मतलब ये है कि आप दूसरी शादी करना चाहते हैं आप बता नहीं रहे बहुत गहरे जख्म खाए हैं आपने सर थैंक यू वेरी मच सर बहुत शुक्रिया सर Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ijaz, for inviting me, and thank you, the Management House CEO Club, and especially the audience who have taken the time to listen to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.